Hey everyone, and welcome to the Dota 2 Builds of the Week, the weekly series where I show you guys top 5 meta builds to help you get started with new heroes in Dota 2. As always, a link to each of these builds is down in the description below, as is a link to my Twitch if you want to join the fun live. That being said, today we're getting started with Position 1 Tiny. Tiny has seen a resurgence in the meta since he has received a number of buffs that have essentially increased his win rate by over 10%. The build is relatively straightforward and one that is consistent with the prior Tiny when he was a carry in the meta. What you're looking at here is you're looking at focusing on taking tree grab as early as you can with avalanche and toss combo. Now, they have changed the avalanche and toss combo. It does less damage, but what's important and the key to this build is that you are getting a 15-minute Aghanim's shard. The timing is very important. The Aghanim shards have been changed from 20 minutes to 15, and Tiny has been a massive beneficiary of that because he's able to basically use tree grab like permanently, and the result of that is he's able to wipe through the entire jungle farming in like less than 30 to 40 seconds. So basically he ends up being a tremendously fast-paced carry that's able to get a tremendous amount of farm very rapidly thanks to his 15-minute Aghanim shard. You really want to get it as fast as possible because it does amplify his farm. From there, the Shadow Blade into Silver's Edge, the crit is just, it's way too good on him for the amount of damage he does, especially when you couple it with the Echo Saber. Silver's Edge into an Echo Saber crit, like they just, supports are going to blow up in 2 hits, right? And then you go BKB so you can't get controlled. From there, depending on the game, it's your choice. If you want to focus and double down on the crit, Daedalus is an interesting option. Assault Cuirass really helps with his ability to do DPS thanks to the negative armor and the attack speed. But overall, it's up to you. Tiny is back in the meta. He has seen a couple of nerfs here and there, but he's still extremely powerful in its current state. In Position 2 mid, Void Spirit continues to be a fantastic option for those looking to take control of the early and mid game. He also scales extremely well thanks to the changes in null talismans, and overall, he is just an absolutely fantastic mid hero. His build is one that allows you to basically be consistently powerful throughout the game. You are taking a value point in Aether Remnant and Dissimulate. You're focusing on Resonant Pulse early so that you can trade more effectively in lane, of course, and you're taking your Astral Strap whenever possible. With that being said, your buildup does include taking as much stats as you can while going towards an early bottle. You want to get that bottle as fast as possible. As a Void Spirit, you're extremely mobile, and that bottle is extremely valuable. From there, you're going double Null Talisman into a Boots of Speed. You are taking your Yule's Scepter of Divinity for 2 reasons. 1, it allows you to set up Aether Remnant with extreme precision, and 2, it dispels any sort of silence that is absolutely detrimental to Void Spirit. You are essentially useless if you are silenced, so the Yule's Scepter of Divinity allows it to dispel. From there, Kaya Sanj gives you that added strength and intelligence, the status resist, and a lot of spell amplification, which goes great with your Aghanim's Scepter, which provides a Resonant Pulse AoE silence as well as an additional charge. It allows you to really amplify the amount of damage you can do when you combine that with the effect of Kaya Sanj as well. His Aghanim Shard, a fantastic one of the best in the game. Increases your mobility, increases your ability to track targets as well with the additional ring on Dissimulate. And Lincoln's Sphere is fantastic. It gives you everything you need, additional stats. It gives you regeneration, but most importantly, it allows you to survive a little longer with that active spell block. You're also seeing builds where he goes Orchid, which has been changed and no longer has the intelligence element of it. But if you do take Orchid, it can be an excellent ganking tool, especially if you're a little further in the game. And Mage Slayer continues to be a pretty interesting option for him as well. Gives him the magic resistance, the attack speed, and intelligence as well. And of course, you build the 2 into a Bloodthorn later on. Regardless, Void Spirit, a very interesting choice in the current meta. One of the best things about Dota 2 patches is that heroes that find themselves outside the meta can find themselves thrust right back in really big and interesting ways. And that's exactly what happened with Death Prophet. You've seen Death Prophet traditionally been played as a mid, and you've seen her been experimented as a position 4 and 5. But now the pro meta is seeing position 3 Death Prophet as a truly viable play. And this is the build. Essentially what you're looking at doing here is you are taking Crypt Swarm early so that you can really, you can secure last hits, you can harass effectively, secure range creeps, etc. It's a great skill for that. However, you are taking Spirit Siphon and Silence with the value point later. But what you want to do is you want to Crypt Swarm, keep the lane pushed, and then when you have Exorcism at level 6, you're taking that tower. The important thing to understand is the entire build revolves around this. the Agnum Shard, which increases the charges on Spirit Siphon and also makes it so that after 3 seconds of consecutive siphoning, the enemy gets feared, which is tremendous. It's a tremendous buff. It used to be 4 seconds, now it's 3 seconds. And the talents go all around Spirit Siphon to improve that ability to control. With that being said, in terms of build, you are building towards being an initiating frontliner. You're taking double null talisman into power treads. Now, some people are going phase boots, but the treads are interesting because you can switch to strength when you need that extra HP when you're initiating. And then you're taking Yul Scepter and Kaya Sanj. Both are doing exactly what you need. You're amplifying your spell lifesteal and your amplification. You're also getting a counter to any silences you might experience. You're also getting increased movement speed, intelligence, mana regeneration. These are exactly what you want. Similar to a Razor, you want to keep the people in range of your Spirit Siphon. BKB allows you to not get controlled. And finally, Shiva's Guard is the icing on the cake. It's the intelligence you want, the armor you need to be an initiator. And then you got, a whole bunch of versatility items. Actually, really popular right now is Heaven's Halberd. I want to just kind of highlight that. Heaven's Halberd, the additional strength, the status resistance. In certain games, you can skip the Kaya Sanj, go the Heaven's Halberd, get that evasion. It makes a huge difference for her survivability, especially against very powerful right-clicking carries like a Sven or a PA or something like that. Regardless, DP3 is back in the meta. You got to give it a shot. It's a ton of fun. Now, here's a guy that we don't get to talk about very often. Pugna. Pugna is being played all over the place right now, whether it be mid, position 5, or position 4. And what's interesting about Pugna is I actually think that he shines in position 4 because of his utility. Now, I'm going to warn you right now. Pugna on the surface seems very straightforward to play, but he has a high degree of complexity specifically around his use of Decrepify. You could inadvertently save opponents, you can kill your teammates, you can do so much wrong with Decrep, so it's very important you practice this hero. It has a pretty high skill ceiling deceptively, so anyways, it's still a fantastic hero. Let's talk about the build up. So this is a position 4 Pugna build. You are taking your Sentry Ward so that you can basically block the camp. You're taking as much regen as you can, going into an early null talisman. Now, you could double null. I mean, you're seeing some people do that, usually from mid, but as a position 4, you are taking some farm. You do clear waves very well. Nether Blast, you can really help push waves in, take towers early. Although, you don't want to take too much farm away from your position 3, obviously, but you can go double null. Infused Raindrop, it gives him a lot of sustain, not only from the mana regeneration standpoint, but because he has almost no HP. Someone like Alina can basically one-shot him with Laguna Blade, so Infused Raindrops, especially against magical lineups, can really help you survive. Into Arcane Boots, disassemble the boots into Aether Lens, and then you go Glimmer Cape, and then finally, usually, people often go Boots of Travel. Now, you could, as a support, and I should add it. Why is it not here? I should add it right now. Where is it? Where's my Tranquil Boots? Here they are. Tranquil Boots an option as well. I don't know why I didn't have it there. Let's publish it. Publishing. Live editing. Anyways, so it should have been there anyway, but you can actually disassemble this into Aether Lens and then build Tranquil Boots, which allows you to life drain your allies and heal them while you're actually getting healed by the Tranquil Boots effect. Or you can go Boots of Travel with Nether Blast and travel around the map and effectively create a ton of wave pressure. Okay, so that's something you'd want to do as well. And obviously your general usual kind of items. Now against heroes like PL or CK or illusion-based heroes, his changed Agnum Shard, which allows Nether Ward to basically AoE life drain, is super fun and cool. So please keep that on your radar as well. And if you get super farmed, there's nothing better than his Agnum Shard, Scepter, which allows you to basically life drain even better. Regardless, guys, Pugna 4, he's really cool. He's a lot of fun. If you're interested in challenging yourself, he's a hero worth checking out. But be aware that it's this skill right here, right? You're gonna get reported if you're new because you're gonna decrep in the wrong ways sometimes as you get used to it. People are gonna tilt out, but whatever. That's Dota. There was a time not so long ago that Omniknight position 5 was the best hero in Dota, and then Valve did what Valve does and nerfed him so bad that you never saw him again. Well, good news, friends. Omniknight 5 is back. Omniknight has been buffed and has seen significant changes to the point where he is actually quite feared not only in the laning stage, but in the late game as well, with some new itemization that we're going to talk about right now. Omniknight. So, first thing, Hammer of Purity is now a basic skill. Degen Aura is now tied to his Agnum Shard, which is great, by the way, if you can afford it as a position 5 for 1400 gold. With that being said, his buildup is Value Point in Purity, Value Point in Heavenly Grace, focus on Purification, okay? From there, of course, okay, you want the Magic Wand because, you're a melee hero, melee support, you're very squishy, that extra Regeneration in terms of health and mana is valuable. You're getting your Tranquil Boots and you're comboing it with Infused Raindrops and Soul Ring. This is important because you can proc Soul Ring and it does not impact your ability to still get healed by Tranquil Boots. It's free mana, basically. From there, you're building your Drums of Endurance using these charges as you build towards the, albeit extremely expensive, Boots of Bearing. This is what all the pros are doing. They're going towards the Boots of Bearing, and not only creating an increased amount of movement speed for your allies, but when you couple this with the Aghanim Shard and Degen Aura, what you're getting is a huge discrepancy between your team's movement speed and the enemy's movement speed. Your team just moves rapidly in fights and their team is kind of stuck. So it creates this huge discrepancy. And of course, you know, there's also a ton of support items and other items you can kind of individualize depending on the game situation. But the main item progression is getting these boots, Soul Ring, drums, and into the Boots of Bearing, the Bongo Boots, which honestly, they're just so good right now. I know my screen's cutting off a bit, but regardless, this is what you want. You want to get to it because it allows Omniknight to really contribute in a meaningful way to team fights, especially when you consider his Shard and his ultimate. He becomes a team fighting machine and really lets his allies come online and end the game. Thank you so much for watching, and a very special thank you to all of our wonderful subscribers. We'll see you in the next Dota 2 video.